You either have lifetime goals and ambitions, or you're not participating in life. I feel so connected to my Yoli family. We all have dreams and goals and lifetime ambitions, but many of us will never realize our goals until we let go of our fear and excuses and push through the God-given adversity that was custom ordered to teach us specifically what each one of us needs to learn. Those who know me know I have a mild obsession with mountaineering. You'll see it on the walls of my home office. There are many analogies and metaphors that can be drawn from mountaineering. Some of my victories in the mountains have paralleled my greatest victories in business. But as of 2 months ago, there was still one significant accomplishment, one bucket list goal that I had neglected to accomplish. And due to health concerns, I feared I never would. In 2010, the year after Yoli was launched, after finally winning a 3-month battle with pneumonia, I still felt like I couldn't breathe. A pulmonologist diagnosed me with a paralyzed diaphragm. He told me my left lung would never function properly. Here's why that's a problem. You remember that bucket list goal I mentioned? It required a well-functioning set of lungs. It's called summiting Mount Rainier. 14,410 feet of ice, rock, and snow. It has the largest prominence from base to peak of any mountain in the lower 48 states. In fact, the route to the top ascends the same vertical distance as Everest Base Camp to its summit. On a clear day, no matter the season, Mount Rainier calls to me, as it has since I was a young boy. Every time I leave the neighborhood or drive on the freeway, every time I fly in an airplane, there it is, beckoning to me. I always had a dream of climbing it, but I knew this would be impossible without a great deal of training to compensate for my compromised lung. I bought a stair machine. I hired a trainer. I was committed. I was going up that mountain. Then I was thrown a curveball. Having half my lung power seemed like a challenge enough. In 2015, as I began training for Mount Rainier, some symptoms I had noticed the past couple of years became more prominent. I was referred to the University of Washington Neurological Clinic, where I was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. This is the disease shared with Michael J. Fox and Muhammad Ali. Though it was initially a shock to me and my family, it was actually a relief to know what was going on with my body. Why my hand wiggled all the time, why I had a tendency to shuffle, why I always lost balance, why I felt tired all the time, why my legs were constantly uncomfortable and clenching. And why was I so obsessed with watching the movie Back to the Future over and over and over? So I continued my training, climbing 6 different peaks totaling 30,000 feet in real mountains. I did a 12-mile run the week before Rainier and was climbing stairs like a champ with a 65-pound pack on my back. Though I struggled, I felt prepared. What I wasn't prepared for were the conditions I encountered on summit day. At 12,500 feet, I ran into steep ice and technical footholds that caused me to waver and lose my balance several times. I never fell, but I was not being safe. After leaving camp at 4 a.m. and climbing for hours, I was turned back. I lay down in the tent at 9,500 feet at Camp Sherman. Tears of disappointment filled my eyes as I realized that all of my preparation over the previous months and years was for nothing. I thought to myself, I will never climb this mountain. My body won't let me. I gave myself about 30 minutes to have my own personal high-altitude PPP, personal pity party. And then it was over. Ain't nobody got time for that. I talked to my lead guide and came up with a new plan. My plan was to put together the first ever Yoli Summit team. I would hire the entire climb and sell the individual positions to friends, individuals who understood my circumstances and would be willing to accommodate my special needs. We trained together for most of the year. We did several smaller mountain climbs together. I did a total of 50,000 feet of real mountains and countless stairs to prepare my body. I was ready. In 2017, on my second attempt of Rainier, I climbed better than I ever had. I reached higher on the mountain than I ever had, but it still wasn't enough. At 12,700 feet, less than 2,000 vertical feet from the summit of Rainier, I was turned around again.
Give us sleep.
With diminished coordination combined with high winds and a few hazards I was uncomfortable with, I realized I was endangering the rope team every time I stumbled on my crampons. It wasn't worth the risk. This time I thought, I gave it my best. It still wasn't good enough. Maybe my mountaineering days are over. Other people had done it. Other people with physical challenges, handicaps, and limitations. Maybe I was special. Maybe I would never realize my dream.
And Executive Vice President, Darren Falter.
I didn't make it. That's it. My presentation's over. They didn't give me any time. Has anybody ever felt like that? Have you ever felt like I just keep trying over and over again and I can't get this thing done? Years ago, I visited the office. I had the privilege of visiting the office of Mark Victor Hansen, who's the author of Chicken Soup for the Soul. And while I was there, he said, Darren, when I went through my first bankruptcy, I was so stressed out, and my friends worried about me because I had dark circles under my eyes. I said, Mark, are you getting any sleep? He goes, I sleep like a baby. I wake up every 2 hours and cry. He took that resolve, and he pushed through it, and he created a legacy. He created a legacy of over 100 million books sold. He set world records. But it came down to two things. One, his ability to get up when he fell down, overcoming failure, and absolute focus and determination. I realized I used to pray for a lot of things in my business to try to have success. I used to pray for finding the right person to come to me. I prayed for people, to find the company, for me to be a better presenter, to be a better spokesperson, to learn more product knowledge. But I finally came down to it. I realized that every person I interviewed who'd had success in this industry, they had one thing in common. They never gave up, and they're absolutely determined to succeed. They had a burning passion and desire. And so I started praying for just that. I just want to maintain the desire to succeed, because when you have the desire to achieve, when you have a desire to achieve diamond, and it burns in you every day, you figure it out. Nothing else matters, because you will figure it out. I promise you'll figure it out if you keep that desire. Well, the problem is a lot of times we get away from these things and we lose the desire. So pray for that desire. God, give me the desire to achieve. You see, when you're on the mountain, you don't climb by yourself. When you get to the upper mountain, it's very dangerous, so you need to rope up. And once you clip into a rope, everybody ascends together and everybody descends together. If you choose to turn around, if you're not fit, if you're not prepared, if you get scared, or you have Parkinson's disease, and you're not ready for the mountain, if you turn around, you're usually going to be turning around other climbers. So you got to realize that when you clip into that rope team, you got to be prepared and really willing to commit to climb at the pace of the team and to summit together. We all summit together. Now, what does it mean to summit to you? What does it mean to be successful to you in this business? It really comes down to your why, doesn't it? We talk a lot about our why. Can I have permission to share with you one of my most powerful whys? Now, this is something that's very personal to me, and I only started sharing it this year after 20 years of keeping it locked inside. It's kind of hard. And first of all, it has to do with my family. I'd like to introduce my family, by the way. Can I have my family stand up? This is my wife, Sandy. We're a very close family, and when the twins had just stood up, were little babies, maybe two years old, we got a tragic phone call. It was 1995. And we found out that my young nephew, Taylor, had his hand wrapped up in the lead rope of a horse. His father and him were working with the horses. The horse spooked and galloped and drug him under the horse for a long ways. And by the time his father caught him and got him out, he was very badly injured, to the point where his father held him in his arms while he took his last breath. And we had to make a tough decision. We didn't have any money. We were just starting our networking career. We had to decide who goes to the funeral. And so we made the decision, since it was Sandy's sister, she gets to go. We scraped up our money, put it on a credit card, and I stayed home with the twins to take care of the family, and we sent her the next day. That decision has haunted me, because I spent a lot of time with Taylor, reading bedtime stories, playing with him, and I never had any closure all these years. And I made a determination that year that would never happen again to my family. When I need to go somewhere, I want to go. And when my family needs to go, we go together. And we stay as long as we need to stay. And we bring whoever we need to bring, because I say so. I would never put my family in that position again. Let me share one more that's not quite so tragic. My father's an architect. Robbie and Kimmy and Sandy and I went to Rome many years ago. It was the most epic experience. It was life-changing. But the whole time I was in Rome, as I stared into the Colosseum and I looked up at the St. Peter's Cathedral, I thought of my father. His whole life he studied architecture. He never owned a passport. He never traveled outside the United States. And I thought, I've got to get Dad here. And Dad was double knee transplant, starting to get immobile, but we've got to do this. So when the Blue Diamond trip came up, we took it a week, and we took him a week before the Blue Diamond trip to Rome. And it was just incredible to watch my father witness his face as he walked through the cradle of humanity and experience that. I took more pictures of him looking up at the things than I did of the thing itself. It was incredible, and we printed out a bunch of pictures that are framed all over their wall, and every time people come over now, that's all they talk about is their trip to Rome. Who are you going to take who can't afford it? Where are you going to take them? It's great to dream about these ideas, but many times they're never going to happen because we haven't made the commitment necessary. We haven't made that sacrifice. There's not enough urgency. Darren, so you're telling me I need to leave the kids? Yes! I'm telling you need to leave the kids, and I'm telling you that your kids probably need the break from you.
Amen! Woo!
If you never leave your kids, you're destroying them. Let's just put it that way.
You're destroying them.
Let your kids be the reason you do this business and not an excuse for not doing it. Teach them the level of sacrifice it requires to be a leader and show that example. Teach them the power of delayed gratification. I consider myself an introvert, but I can get really cocky sometimes.
Yeah.
And just tell you, when I set my goal to achieve a rank, I always do it. I always win, no matter what, because I have a strategy. What I do is I interview people that are where I'm at, and I find out their IPAs, their income-producing activities, and I duplicate it, but I don't just duplicate, I double them, because I want to make sure. And I'm so relentless when people get tired and they get sick of doing their IPAs, and when they take a break, I'm not taking a break. I keep pushing through. When people get frustrated, when they fail, and they get discouraged, I pick myself up and I try again, and I make sure that I focus on the goal. So this Mount Rainier thing. 2016, I climbed 30,000 vertical feet to prepare for it. I knew I was ready. I went up and I failed. And so in 2017, I did 50,000 vertical feet, failed again. 2018, I did 100,000 vertical feet, which is the equivalent of going from base camp Everest to the top of Everest and back 10 times on real mountains. I surrounded myself with people who could help me. Now I'm going to play one more video for you. And while I'm playing this video, I want you to make a commitment to yourself. What is it that is keeping you from success in your life and your business? What is something you can commit to before next conference that you're going to achieve? 2019 Yoli Conference. And I want you to email me that thing. Now, many of you are not going to do this, and that's okay, because I realize when I talk about numbers, that means that some people are willing to do it and many aren't. I want you to send me the commitment you're going to commit to for the next year, 2019. Let's roll the video.
Another summit for Team Yoli 2018.
What do you have to say, Katie? I'm recording. Darren, you're the summits. You're the summits, man. 2018.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
I propose to you when you get to the last hour of your last day, only two things will matter. Won't be your title. Won't be your net worth. It will be number one. Who did you become? And number two, how many people did you inspire?
I can tell you from experience, the effect you have on others is the most valuable currency there is. Don't let anything stand in the way of the light that shines through this form. Risk being seen in all of your glory.
Out of the night that covers me, blank as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishment the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
And if you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep for it, if all that you dream and scheme is about it, and life seems useless and worthless without it, and if you're glad to sweat for it and fret for it and plan for it, and lose all your terror of the opposition for it, and if you simply go after that thing that you want with all of your capacity, strength and sagacity, faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity, if neither cold poverty, famine, or cold, sickness, or pain, or body and brain can keep you away from the thing that you want, if dogged and grim, you besiege and beset it, with the help of God you'll get it.
Do you want to know the secret to success? It's simple. Never quit.
And I'm not going to tell you it's easy to climb a mountain. It's not. It's difficult. You're going to have to dig deep. You're going to have to become something you don't think you are now, that maybe you don't believe in. And when it gets hard, it's going to get difficult. You're going to feel like you want to quit. That's when you're going to have to pull inner strength that you didn't know you had. That's when you're going to have to pull from your rope team. Rick Fountain, could you come up here real quick? Rick Fountain. Right here. Come up here, Rick. Is he backstage? Choose your rope team wisely. I chose wisely with Rick because he's a Leadville finisher. There he is. Look at this guy. I just want to present to you the official Yoli Summit flag. Gotta get this right. Let's get a quick picture, everybody. Focus on your dream. Fail fast. Fail fantastically. And one day soon, surrounded by those who love you and support you and are fellow travelers, you will stand on the summit of your dreams. Thank you.
Do you want to know the secret to success? It's simple. Never quit.